Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier content for the 21-22 season. My name is Dan and welcome to another stream, another one of our daily streams. We're streaming at 6 PM every day this week. We are very much in the region of filler content. I understand that. I know this it's probably not my best work ever, to be honest, these streams this week, but you know, it fills this long, never-ending gap between, you know, one game week and the next, I suppose. So if you guys still have a little bit of FPL thirst to be quenched, hopefully I can help you out a little bit here. But yeah, I do appreciate that, you know, this content is not for everyone, you know, and I'm probably not going to get properly back into it until next week. It's just, there's not too much going on right now. But there is one thing that's going on, guys. Some of you guys may already know, but we do actually have a double game week announcement. So, here we are. So we've had a rescheduled fixture. The rest of it is pretty nonsense rubbish. It's just, you know, fixtures that we already knew about. It's just the television schedule there. But the one double game week that we have got is this rescheduled fixture. That is of note anyway. Is this rescheduled fixture Manchester United versus Brighton. This is on Tuesday, the 15th of February, which would put it in game week 15. So let's just have a look quickly to see if the FPL website has updated to show this or not. Yes, it has indeed. So there you go, guys. You can see right there. We've got a double game week. Yay. I mean, I was hoping for a few more double game week announcements. I certainly don't think this is the last of it. But we do have a double game week. One thing that I would say, guys, initial thoughts before we do start cracking on with the main content of the video is that obviously we've got Brighton with a double game week as well. So it'll be Manchester United and Brighton with the double game weeks there. Let me just find a Brighton player for you real quick. Let's use Morpay because why not? Why not? Just something to be aware of is that we don't actually have a game week 24 fixture for Brighton. So don't be rushing in those Brighton players quite yet. But this could be pretty interesting. You know, if you're a Sanchez owner and you're not a De Gea owner, for example, that could be pretty interesting. You know, maybe you're thinking of, you know, particularly if you're on a wild card, maybe you're thinking about doing a tactic where you have both Sanchez and Ramsdale. Both of those goalkeepers, they rotate pretty well. I mean, maybe if you want to go into a bench boost in game week 25, there's argument for, you know, a De Gea and Sanchez double up on those two goalkeepers, and then you can have a nice double game week that way. But there you go, guys. In terms of double game weeks, we have got one. We've got one, and that's going to be in game week 25, and it's going to be Brighton and Manchester United will be the two teams with a double game week as they face off against each other. So there you go, guys. Right. Let's talk about what I said I'd talk about, and basically what I thought we'd talk about today is wildcards. So, guys, I know a few of you guys are on wildcards right now. And a few of you guys have kind of sent me them on Twitter over the past week or asked me to, you know, have a look at your wildcards. And I thought, well, let's do that on stream. We may as well have a go at do that on stream. By the way, blackcurrant squash emojis in the chat. But let's talk about, I don't know where to put this now. Let's put it over here. Let's get you guys to send in your teams, your wildcard teams, and then we're just all going to have a look at them, and that's what's going to happen. So if I go on my Twitter page, we'll do Twitter first. I might do Instagram submissions as well. I really don't want to. But if you beg me enough, I might do. If there's enough demand for it, I'll maybe do some Instagram ones as well. But yeah, here we go. This is my Twitter, just at FPL Mate. Just send me a screenshot of your current wildcard draft, and then we'll all have a look at it together and try and kind of give it a rating, I suppose. So yeah, do feel free to send that. Send me those wildcards. I can see those blackcurrant squash emojis in the chat already. Let's have a look. Let's just see if we'll basically just wait for some notifications. I'm hoping at least a few of you have got wildcard teams to send me, but just a nice screenshot. And yeah, hopefully one will come up. Who is going to be first? Should we refresh? See if anything's come up yet. Still nothing. I think there's maybe a chat delay. It's either a chat delay or nobody has Twitter or nobody has a wild card. Probably should have said at the beginning of the stream to send me them here, and then in hopes that they would be ready by now. All right. Well, I mean, we'll just wait here. We're just going to wait here until someone sends me a wild card. Is there a delay? How do we send? Oh, here we go. We got loads now. Right. Okay. Fair enough. If you want to send, just all you need to do is on Twitter, send a tweet, go at FPL Mate like that, and then attach a photograph using the media button. So just do that, and then click tweet, and then that will come through on this notifications thing for me, and you guys know how to use Twitter, I'm sure, and it's as simple as that. So let's have a look at what we've got so far. Should we just try and find the first one? I think this was the first one from Harry the Haddock. So thank you, Harry the Haddock, for sending me in that team. Let's have a look at it. Hopefully everyone can see that all right on screen. Yeah, I think that's pretty clear to see. Excellent. So is that your wild card, or is that just 3 transfers? I don't know if that wild card active. Okay, right. So this is just your latest updates to your transfers. There's a big chat delay. Okay, fair enough. I think I actually set the chat delay on purpose. I should just be aware of that when we're doing live stuff, I guess. But let's have a look at this. So Ramsdale and De Gea, so going really expensive on the goalkeepers. Kind of interesting. We've got a double up in City defence. We've got Cucurella in there, presumably to prepare for that double game week. It's a pretty expensive defence, and I don't know. I'm kind of looking through this team and thinking, who's getting benched? So Ramsey's obviously going to be on the bench. Broja's going to be on the bench on a lot of game weeks, and aside from that, is it maybe you kind of switch between Cucurella and Martinelli potentially? I kind of like it. I definitely like De Gea as a goalkeeper pick. Aside from that, Ronaldo, who's kind of missing from this team? I mean, I'm trying to think back to the team we kind of made last week, which was really good, wasn't it? Who's kind of missing from this team? Maddison maybe would be a player you could potentially include in here. Rafinha, there's no Rafinha in here. There's no Spurs, which is kind of interesting. And something we spoke about yesterday on yesterday's stream was that actually Spurs kind of have a lot of fixtures yet to be rescheduled. A lot of fixtures. They've got 3 there. 3 double game weeks to come. Obviously, we don't know when they're going to be yet. But there's no Spurs. Maybe it's a case of we just focus on, Manchester United and Brighton for now, and that's exactly what this has done. I mean, we can only work with what we know about, right? But it's a decent team. I would probably give this team to be fair, I'll probably give this team an 8 or 9 out of 10. Yeah, I'll probably give this an 8 or 9 out of 10. I think that the Ramsdale and De Gea are going to cause a lot of issues, but, it sets you up for a bench boost later down in the season. I like Broja. Martinelli and Ramsey, I'm wondering if maybe if you did want to move to another midfielder, you might struggle a little bit because there's no one really in Ramsey or Martinelli's price bracket really. So if you did want to move to a different midfielder, another mid-price midfielder, for example, you're potentially going to struggle there. But yeah, not bad. Not bad. Oh, okay, right, here we go. Who's this one from? This one is from Ishan. And, okay, this is... first of all, I'm going to say immediately, Lamptey is just not nailed. It's just not nailed, is it? Which is a problem. Particularly if you're going for that double game week in game week 25. Lamptey is kind of really risky for that. He's just kind of not nailed. I think the last guy who had Billy the Fish, was he called, or whatever it was called, had Cucurella in there, who I think is the slightly better shout. Reguilon as well, I'm not totally sure on. Just because I don't know how nailed on he is, if I'm completely honest. I mean, I can see Sessegnon coming in fairly regularly. I can see, some other players playing in that position because, I don't know, I just feel like Reguilon is just not quite doing the business at the moment, and I think his position is kind of at risk a little bit. So if I was on a wild card, I don't think Reguilon would be actually a player that I'd go for. Aside from that, I kind of like it. King is a player that I don't think I do like. I think the time of our Watford forwards maybe slightly in the past with the upcoming fixtures: West Ham, Brighton, Aston Villa, Manchester United, Arsenal. You can see on screen there. It's that they're kind of not fixtures they're not fixtures we like too much. So yeah, maybe King to Broja might be a slightly better option. We know Broja's got some good fixtures coming up soon, so we can bench Broja in the immediate term and then have him as a super sub, and then in a few game weeks time he's going to have those really nice fixtures where we're going to want to play him. So yeah, King to Broja I definitely do. I think this team, because of Lamptey, Reguilon and King, They are putting me off a little bit. Foden is an okay pick for the, well, a really good pick for the short term, I guess. But I'm not too sure after that. But you can always pivot from Foden to a different player later down the line. I kind of wonder a little bit about this team structure. How's it going to get in? How are you going to get in Salah? I guess you take out Ronaldo and then change up a midfielder. It's going to take you 2 transfers to do that. And I think one of the benefits of a wildcard is you can either bring in Salah right now, which I think would be a good idea. But if you're going to do that, you're going to have to make some sacrifices. And players like Foden is probably going to have to be a sacrifice. Then you're probably going to have to sacrifice... maybe you want to keep Ronaldo for that double game week, but then we've got to make some other sacrifices. Maybe Rafinha, Maddison, or Bowen needs to go to a much cheaper midfielder like a Gray or a Martinelli, or even a Jacob Ramsey. But overall, I would say that a wildcard team without Salah, or easy way to get Salah, is probably the way. Count Sealor in the chat says, personally, I'd say Lamptey is mostly nailed. The only issue is the odd injury now and again. He's not, though, because his minutes need to be managed, because he does get these recurring injuries, and you can see that even when he is fit, he regularly misses games. He probably plays 2 out of 3 games. That's not close to being nailed, unfortunately. I think there's a lot more to be desired there. If you're challenging these double game weeks, and that's the only reason you've brought in a player, we do need to, if you're bringing in a player just for the purpose of a double game week, I feel like they do need to be a player that is kind of 80-90% nailed, which Lamptey's just kind of not. It's just kind of not. But overall, I think this team is strong, but because it doesn't have Salah, because there's this kind of issue, or no way to get Salah easily, we've got Lamptey, Reguilon, and King, which I think are kind of a little bit risky picks at this present time. I do think I have to give this a 7 out of 10, maybe a 6 out of 10. If we no, actually 7 because the rest of the team is really strong, to be fair. So yeah, let's give it a 7 out of 10. But it does have a couple of minor issues, I think, that I would personally want to address there. Kia is here, an absolute massive regular of the channel. Count Sealor says, in my opinion, we just need a bit more extra data. Well, if you think we need a bit more extra data, then that's just speculative. Maybe we do need some more data to know for sure. But everything that we've got so far suggests one thing. And if you really think that Lamptey is going to be nailed on in the future, then it's speculative. You have nothing we really don't really have anything to back that up. And when we're kind of playing FPL, we've got to I really feel like we've got to default to what we know rather than what we don't know. You can take risks, fair enough, but you have to acknowledge that they're risks, and you can't claim that a player is nailed when there's very little evidence to suggest that. Cucurella is the only better Brighton defender than Lamptey. He's a pretty good option. I mean, there are some other more nailed on option, but Cucurella obviously does provide that attacking threat. But if you wanted to go for, I don't know, let's have a look at, whilst we're talking about Brighton, let's have a look at some Brighton defenders, because it's not just, let's just go by Brighton. It's not just the fullbacks. I mean, there is some other options, like Duffy. Where is he? Is he injured? He's not been playing for ages, has he? I meant to click on Dunk, I think, but it clicked on Duffy. No, wait, what? Where's Dunk gone? Have I missed it? I didn't even realise he was gone, but apparently he's been gone for ages. Is he available now? It doesn't say that he's unavailable. Okay, well, I don't know what happened there, but clearly something's going on with Dunk. Did he move clubs? I'm sure someone... I don't know how I've managed to miss that one. I guess I've not been paying that much close attention to Brighton games recently, but apparently Dunk's been missing for a while. I don't think I actually have watched Brighton in some weeks, to be fair. Veltman is an option. 4.2 million, really, really cheap. Probably not going to get you too much in terms of attacking returns. He was pretty good for attacking returns, actually, last season. We've got Burn and Webster. Burn's been playing recently. Webster's been playing recently as well, hasn't he? Aside from that, Cucurella, he's a little bit more expensive. The thing is, it depends what you want from your Brighton defender. Do you want a Brighton defender that you're going to play in this double game week and then you're going to continue to play? Or do you just kind of want them just to play for this one game week and then they're going to become kind of fodder in a way? If so, maybe Veltman is your guy. Because even with Lamptey, even if he plays both games, we do see often that we can see in recent games, he's been benched and just come off the bench for 1-pointers on 3 occasions in the last 4 game weeks. That's no good. There's loads of times that he just kind of comes off the bench, and there was times again last season as well where he kind of was coming off before 60 minutes as well. It's kind of risky, and it's just, I just don't think that's the one. Veltman maybe is the one. Donk has been injured for weeks. Yeah, okay, knee injury. There you go. Well, he can't. He must be available now then, if there's no flag on him. So there we go. Injured player, knee injury. There we go. He's been on the bench, so FPL removed his flag, but he's thought to be still recovering from his injury. There you go. Thank you, TechXEO. Darshan says, this is a super chat. Have Bruno and Kane for game week 25. Kane to Ronaldo, 26 Bruno to Salah. Game week 27 Roll. Game week 28 Foden to Mount. This is a list of transfers. I mean, yes, it looks like a good plan, but do remember that the plans will very quickly change. I mean, it's very, very well and good planning through to game week 27, but by game week 27, we're going to find out that probably more double game weeks and stuff like that, and that's going to massively change your transfer plan. So it's good to have some ideas, Darshan, but certainly don't expect that to be exactly how it goes, and don't stick to that too rigidly. Different things can happen. Different things can happen. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. So anyway, we've spoken a little bit about Brighton Defenders. I kind of feel like if you're just looking for a defender to play for this double game week, and then they're mostly going to be fodder, bench fodder, who kind of just is there just in case you need them, then Veltman is probably the play. Certainly over Lamptey. Kukurea is the better option. Is a better option than Veltman, but he is quite a deal more expensive, and I feel like if you have a 5.1 million defender, you're probably gonna want to play him fairly often. I don't know. It's a lot of money to invest in the defender if you're going to bench him a lot. But anyway, that's just my opinion. That is just my opinion. What we got here? Nat FBL as sent via. I'm not sure what app this is. Is this an interesting app for sure? I see this sometimes. For those of you who are joining in late, if you do want to send in your wildcard team, all you got to do is @ me on Twitter with a screenshot attached. Nice. So De Gea, Cancelo, Trent, Dino, Laporta. A lot of people going pretty heavy on Man City. Remember, Man City only have 2 good fixtures left, and we know that they don't have any double game weeks at all for the rest of the season. How much faith are we going to show in them? I mean, a triple up seems interesting, particularly if we kind of got Salah coming back. I do like De Bruyne for this game week a lot, though. So I'm kind of looking at this team, and again, this is a no Salah team. It looks like a decent team, to be fair. I do quite like it. The only thing is, this is a team that is going to go without Salah until probably game week 26, right? So you could have a little bit of time without Salah, and it's not really invested in Liverpool at all, because there's no Jota and there's no Robertson either. I wonder if this team would be better served with, maybe a Robertson instead of a Laporta. Just so we're not tripled up or going in too heavy on the Man City team, because I do think I think people will be inclined to move away from Man City when the double game weeks are announced. Maybe we need to think about downgrading Calvert-Lewin. I don't know. Calvert-Lewin is the one player I look in this team and think, I'm actually not really so keen on this team. In general, I do like this team. I mean, you've got Sanchez and De Gea as well, both of whom double in game week 25. So is this even bench boost territory? This is potentially bench boost territory, isn't it? Really, in game week 25. Because you'll have 2 double game week goalkeepers. I don't know, just floating out some ideas there. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's got roots to get Salah, although you probably wouldn't get Salah immediately. And the only player I really don't like is Calvert-Lewin. I'd probably switch him for Watkins, but that's just personal preference. There you go. Not bad. I'd give that probably an 8 out of 10. I like it. I'm just going to pick these teams at random. Let's have a look at this one from Delight. Azariah Daniel. Ramsdale Sanchez goalkeeper combo, which I like actually. Actually, let's just double check. There isn't a situation where both Arsenal and Brighton blank is there. So they've got a blank in 25 and 27, and Brighton have a blank in just 24. So yeah, so that'll be absolutely fine in terms of always making sure you have a goalkeeper in tow. So that's really nice. Ben Mee is kind of interesting. Like, are we thinking that the Burnley defence is on the up? I mean, it's a good price, isn't it? Pretty good price. Maxwell Cornet I like for the long term. The problem is Burnley, I know they have a lot of games to reschedule in, but their immediate term fixtures are pretty bad, aren't they? They've got some pretty bad short term fixtures. Let's have a look. So you're not even going to be wanting to play them at all. You're probably not even going to want them on your bench. Let's have a look at the fixtures. So after Watford, it's United, Liverpool, Brighton, Crystal Palace, Chelsea. Not really an ideal list of fixtures there, particularly those Manchester United and Liverpool games back to back. Watford are usually good for a goal as well, but who knows? Well, that's this game week anyway, so that's kind of irrelevant. So it's next really is Manchester United and Liverpool, and then Chelsea in a couple of game weeks after that as well. And I know there's just so many fixtures to reschedule. Do we trust that? Do we trust the clean sheets? I mean, they got a clean sheet against Arsenal and they got one against West Ham. But aside from that, and against Wolves, but that's not exactly a flex, is it? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure about the Burnley defence. It's an interesting tactic though, and I do quite like it. The double up on Burnley at this stage is probably a little bit too much, I think. Particularly as some of the other players, you've got kind of Aït-Nouri, Ramsey. These are players you're going to want to be benching, which means you're going to kind of have to play a lot of the your Burnley players in the immediate term, or you might have to play them anyway. Unless you don't, of course. But aside from that, I pretty much like it. It's perhaps missing that third Liverpool player, if that's something that you like. It's perhaps missing. Broja is an obvious player that's kind of missing, but Edouard is also a really good pick. So, yeah, I'm trying to think of kind of what's missing out of this team, and there's not too much. I like the double up on Man City. I think I a little bit prefer that to the triple up. It's pretty decent, right? It's pretty decent. Yeah, I like it. But is it the best team in the world? We haven't got enough Manchester United potentially. I feel like if you're on a wild card, De Gea becomes a must, doesn't he? Because of that double game week. But then you've got Sanchez, so I suppose you're going to play Sanchez there. You've got Ronaldo for his double game week. You've got two double game week players. I think maybe you're actually right in the sense that you don't go too far in, like overcommitting to just one double game week of teams that you're not necessarily going to be desperate to keep long term. Ronaldo I like for the double game week. It's got Salah. It's missing a few players, but you can't have everyone at the end of the day. Overall, it's pretty decent. Maybe a Ronaldo to Kane in future weeks would work if Kane starts getting some good double game weeks. You know what? I like it. I know what I've decided. I like this one. I'm going to give that one an 8 out of 10. I'm really looking for a 9 and a 10 out of 10. What we've got here? Josh Laporte. Ramsdale Foster. So no double game week goalkeeper, which is interesting. I feel like this is an opportunity to get at least one of, Ramsdale to De Gea makes a lot of sense, I think, because De Gea is a great goalkeeper who you probably want to keep you'll be happy to keep for the rest of the season anyway. So got to be strong consideration for that. Sanchez is an interesting one. He's been pretty nailed on recently, but I don't know. What do we think long term? Do we think Sanchez is long term nailed? I mean, so far so good. Under Conte, he's played every game, so yeah, that's good. That's a good suggestion that maybe Sanchez is now nailed. Yeah, fine. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that one. Yeah, I'm just kind of struggling to think who else you'd perhaps go for. Maybe a Ben Davies at 0.1 cheaper. He did miss that one game, which I know puts a lot of people off. That game week 19 game he missed. I know that puts people off, but I still do prefer Davies because he does have a lot of license to go forward. But Sanchez does have that aerial threat from I know he does have that aerial threat, and his underlying stats are actually really good for goals. But he doesn't produce a great deal of goals in terms of his career. But his aerial stats are really good. So maybe that's something that's actually improved upon. In that case, you've got to be in it to win it. Why not try and luck out and get another Sanchez corner header? So that's pretty nice. We do have a little bit of Spurs representation in there for those future double game weeks. We've got Broja, Antonio, Edouard. I feel like this is maybe a good time to jump off Antonio if you're wildcarding now. I think it's probably a good time to jump off. And I'm not so keen on the I'm not so keen on the City triple up. And if I was going to double up on the City defence, it would be Cancelo and Laporte. And your name is Josh Laporte. So why are you going for Diaz? You must know that Laporte is the better FPL option, right? Surely. Absolutely crazy. Count Sealor says, no, as soon as Romero's back, I assume Sanchez drops. I mean, possibly. It's hard to say for sure. We are speculating at this point. But yeah, I do still prefer Davies. I feel like Davies is the most likely player to keep his place. I feel like you're probably right in terms of Sanchez and Dyer are the most likely players to drop out in that Spurs defence, right? Davies probably keeps his place. Where's the United players with their double? Yeah, that's also a good point. So there's no United double game week players. There's no Brighton double game week players. It's got Diaz instead of Laporte, too expensive. Sanchez instead of Davies, which is okay. It's still got Antonio, which I'm not so keen on. But the rest of it actually looks good. And that's the thing. The rest of the team looks good. But it does have a couple of holes, doesn't it? And we got to take advantage a little bit of the double game week, right? This is the time to get in a... I guess you kind of have to choose, don't you? Do you go for Ronaldo, Bruno, or do you go for a Salah and a De Bruyne? You can't really have three of those players. And if you like Salah and De Bruyne more than you like Bruno and Ronaldo, then that's really it. You can go for Bruno now instead of Salah, but then you're missing out on Salah returns in the immediate term. You can go for Bruno instead of De Bruyne. But then, De Bruyne is the player who has the really good fixtures in this game week and next game week. So you probably want De Bruyne for this game week. I don't know. There's argument to say move De Bruyne to Bruno for the double game week and captain him in game week 25. But then you're stuck with Bruno maybe. Maybe it's a 1 week punt. And at the same time, who does De Bruyne play in game week 25? Isn't it someone quite good? As in, like a good fixture. Yeah, it's Norwich. So, yeah, that's not really a time where you're going to want to move De Bruyne out, really, either. So, where does the Manchester United players come in? I think that's a debate you guys you're going to come up with yourself. Pick one of Salah and De Bruyne, and then pick one of Ronaldo and Bruno. Maybe that's the answer. I think you can go without De Bruyne, though. He's a fantastic captain option for this game week. But if you've got Salah and Salah's back, then Salah's a great captain option for this game week as well. So pick one of Salah and De Bruyne for this game week, and then pick one of Bruno and Ronaldo for the following game week. So you've got a captain ready in each game week. I think that's probably what I would do, personally. I don't know. But yeah, that team, I think because of some of the holes, I think we have to give this one I think we have to give it a 6 out of 10 because it's got no double game week players in whatsoever. I think we've got to give it a 6. I'm sorry, Josh. I'm sorry. Let's scroll up and see what we've got here. Adrit Shah, another crazy app screenshot, which is fine. So De Gea, Trent, Cancelo, Dino, Robertson, like it. Salah, Foden, Rafinha, Bowen, like it. Hang on a minute. This is very close to the wildcard team we built yesterday. Very close. What is the main difference? The main difference is it's got Foden and Antonio in. I think those are the only two differences. Yeah, those are the only two differences. So I think our team that we made yesterday had Son instead of Foden and Edouard instead of Antonio. Now again, I do think now is the time to hop off Antonio. He doesn't really provide much. If we let's look. I mean, I say it's the time to hop off. It's the time to hop off if you're on a wild card. If you're not on a wild card, you probably keep him for these fixtures. Watford, Leicester, Newcastle, 3 fantastic fixtures that you'll just take any West Ham attacker for this run of fixtures. But the problem is with Antonio, he's not really playing like an attacker. He is playing more like he's playing quite a lot deeper. He's not getting as many chances. You know, we're seeing a lot of the West Ham chances go to Bowen, go to Fornals, go to Lanzini, and kind of players like that. We're going to have Benrahma back as well. Although Antonio is kind of there, he's not there in an attacking sense. So I kind of feel like he's the wrong player for the right fixtures. Obviously, you can get kind of lucky and maybe get some returns there. But if I was on a wild card, I don't think Antonio would make the cut. I really don't. And not because I don't like the player, not because I don't like the fixtures, but because I don't think he's the right player for the job in terms of getting us FPL points right now. Bowen's definitely is. Antonio perhaps isn't. So, yeah, I don't know. But I do really like this team. In general, I really like this team. It's perhaps missing a little bit of... I mean... Maybe we want a little bit more on the double game week. Maybe we want to have maybe some Manchester United, a bit more, you know, a Manchester United attacker to go for. You know, you could, of course, just captain De Gea in the double game week, which would probably be a pretty good option, to be fair. I mean, the two fixtures are pretty decent for Manchester United. Obviously, Brighton are a pretty solid, easy team to play against in terms of defensively. And Southampton at home is not too bad either. We've kind of seen some big players big teams struggle against Southampton. They're a bit of a bogey team, aren't they? We saw that with Manchester City just last game week. So maybe De Gea is actually your captain option set already, and in which case, no problem. I'm actually going to give this team, although I would maybe like to see a little bit more Manchester United / Brighton, maybe a second double game week player in here. I think aside from that, I really like this team. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. I think I'm going to give this a 9. I like that one. Not bad. Not bad at all. Let's. We have got our moderator extraordinaire, Count Seelor. Let's have a look at this one. So De Gea and Foster in goal. I think that is the play, right? Is this a wildcard team? It is a wildcard team. You're doing a wildcard team for 4 changes, or have you already started making the transfers? Sky, tell me in chat what's going on, mate. What's going on? You can't do a wildcard for 4 transfers, surely. Particularly if Ait-Nouri is going to go on the bench, which he probably is. Lamptey, this is why you were doing your Lamptey propaganda earlier. Because you've got him in your team. If you were going for a wild card, yeah, I would swap Lamptey to a different Brighton defender. Aside from that, this is good. This is good. It kind of makes me think: do you need a wild card? Do you need a wild card for 4 players? You kind of got all the big dogs. You've got De Gea, you've got Alexander-Arnold, you've got Cancelo, you've got a little bit of Brighton cover, even if it isn't the best. You've got Davies in there as well, who is a nice pick. You've got Bowen, Jota, Rafinha, good picks. You've got Ronaldo, who's going to be nice for that double game week as well. All you're really probably missing is Salah. Maybe you need to use a couple of transfers to make Salah happen. I'm guessing that Watkins could be is normally an Antonio, in which case could this just be a -4 or something? Do we need to wildcard this? Probably not. I'm going to give this... it's a good team, but it doesn't need a wildcard. If this was a wildcard team, I'd probably give it like an 8 out of 10. Maybe even a 9 out of 10. All it needs is that Lamptey sorting out and you're golden. But yeah, your team must be pretty good if that's all you need to get it to that state. That is a good team. Stefan, what are you saying? Gunn, is there any point in going for Gunn? I feel like if you're going to go for a cheap goalkeeper, just stick with Foster. He's only 0.1 more expensive, and I think he's worth your while. We've got Dalot. What do we reckon of Dalot's long-term prospects? I see a lot of Dalot in these drafts. I do feel like Wan-Bissaka is coming back. I feel like he's coming back. Aside from that, Tony. Oh, come on. We can't still be talking about Tony in 2022. We know by now that he's an absolute FPL troll. We know. Tony is possibly... He's definitely the worst player I've seen in any of these drafts so far. So Tony's got to go. Gunn's got to go. Dallow's probably got to go as well. Gray, I'm not a fan of, but you know, I'll allow him because I know a lot of people are a fan of. But Tony brings the rating down so much. I think this has to go down as, even though it's a really good team, I think it's got to be like a 6 because Tony's just bringing it down. You can't go for Tony. Let's whiz through some more teams and then we'll wrap things up because I don't want this stream to be forever. Here is Roger Swaran. Hopefully I've said that right. De Gea, Foster, Trent, Cancelo, Digne, Dalot. Again, Dalot. I know he's cheap. But Richarlison. Okay, no, you're trolling. Richarlison. You can't be serious. We can't have Richarlison. Ramsdale, Digne. Who's this from? This is from the opinion of him. Ramsdale, Digne, Trent, Cancelo, Laporta, Coutinho, De Bruyne, Bowen, Jota, Salah, King. There's no double game week players unless you count Dalot. What's the situation with Wan-Bissaka? Is he available? Is he back yet? He could be. He could be back. In fact, he probably will be back. By the time, we've still got almost 2 weeks until the next game week starts. So certainly by game week 25, that's over 2 weeks away. We should probably expect Wan-Bissaka back for at least one of those 2 games, right? In which case, Dalot is not... I don't think you can even call Dalot a double game week player. He's got Tony there again. So in that case, I have to give this team a pretty low rating, I'm afraid. King as well is a player we really want to hop off. Tony, King and Dalot are stinking this team out. Maybe go for De Gea instead of Ramsdale as well. Because Ramsdale is going to be missing some games in the near future. And we don't know how well Foster can cover. So that's not ideal. This is from Dragonide R6. Forster. That's the wrong goalkeeper. You mean Foster, not Forster. Unless you do genuinely want to go for Forster, but Southampton's defence, coupled with the fact that McCarthy could potentially come back in at any given moment, doesn't fill me with joy, to be honest. Cancelo, White, Alexander, again Dalot. Dalot is the hype train, right? Isn't he? Dalot is the hype train. What do we think, chat? Are we really convinced by Dalot? I really do not think so. Yeah. Cody seems like a bit of a waste of money when you can kind of go for... I say waste of money. He is very nailed on, Cody. So you have that. You have the confidence of him being nailed on. McAllister, I think, is a passing fad. I can't see him getting more than 3 or 4 points in a double game week, to be honest. Yeah, I don't really like that too much. I mean, what did he get in the last double game week? I can't remember if he... Did he score last in the double game week? No, he got an assist. That was it. I don't know. Watford and Manchester United. Oh, I mean, he's so cheap, it doesn't really matter. You can just kind of shove him on your bench and play him for the double. So I guess in that sense, yeah, why not? But you have got 2 cheap defenders. You've got McAllister and Ramsey. I think you need to kind of pick one who's going to be your cheap defender. You've tried to go with the triple Salah, De Bruyne and Ronaldo, and I admire your ambition here. But the question I would say to you is, do you need Salah if you're not going to captain him? And by that, I mean, you're probably going to captain De Bruyne this game week, and if you're not, then you don't need De Bruyne. You're probably going to captain Ronaldo the following game week, and if so, do you need Salah? Do you need De Bruyne for that game week? I think these are players that could score high, but if you're going to pay the real premium bucks for a player, I think they have to be a captain option. And I feel like you're probably not going to captain. Well, you can only captain 2 of them over the next 2 game weeks, and after that, then what? I like what you're going for, but you've obviously had to make a lot of sacrifices in going for cheap players like Dalot, Cody, McAllister, Ramsey, Broja. All of those arguably should be in and around your bench, and you're going to have to play one of them at any given point. Even Ben White, he's going to be missing a lot of games. Well, some games in the near future, so he's going to be resigned to your bench as well. There's no middly players really in this team. There's no 7-8 million players in this team. What if you want to get a 7 or 8 million player? You kind of locked in a little bit, which I think he's dangerous to not play those price points. People saying no to Manchester United defence, let alone Dalot. I mean, De Gea is good because he gets save points at least, right? But Dalot, like, come on, is he really going to play? Is he really going to play? Let's do a refresh. This is Kia. We already had a look at your team. You forgot to review my team overall, the best Brighton defender discussion. Oh, okay, right, sorry. In that case, let's have another look at this. De Gea, I'm just going to read it through. De Gea, Foster, Amati, Trent, Cancelo, Digne, Lamptey, Ramsey, Smith-Rowe. Again, this is another situation where you've got 3 premiums, so you've had to go super cheap a lot of the other places. So we've got super cheap on Amati, Lamptey, Ramsey, Smith-Rowe, and Broja. So that's 5 super budget players. I feel like you know just moving Sterling to a Foden, for example, could really help you there, and it could help you upgrade like I don't know, you know, you only need to upgrade Lamptey a little bit and he becomes a really good player. Or you can just go Lamptey to, you know, Veltman or someone. You know, if you did Sterling down to a Foden, then you could go Smith-Rowe up to like Rafinha or who else we got, like Maddison maybe. Overall, though, I actually really like this team. I actually do really like this team, but I think you kind of choked yourself a little bit with. I think Sterling is kind of holding your back a little bit with this team. That's the only thing I would say. And obviously, Lamptey, just be aware of the risk that you might not play both games, or you might get limited minutes in both games over the double. That's all I'm going to say on that one. But nice regardless. Nicholas, here you go. Ramsdale, Alexander-Arnold, Digne, Cancelo. So this seems to be the template, right? I think we're kind of all probably like in agreement. Alexander-Arnold, Digne, and Cancelo. That is your first 3 defenders, right? Huzaifa in the chat has said Dalot is more nailed than Wan-Bissaka, but okay, fair enough. Dalot can be more nailed than Wan-Bissaka, but if they are sharing minutes, full stop, then that's going to be a problem, particularly when we're looking at double game weeks. We don't want to pick players that are sharing minutes. And even if you say oh, Dalot is more now than Wan-Bissaka, Dalot's going to play 55% of matches and Wan-Bissaka's going to play 45% of matches, that's still nowhere near good enough. You need a player who's going to be playing 80% of matches, at least if you're going for a rotation risk player, unless they're a real good player. And if we're targeting these double game weeks, then that's the reason you've got a Dalot in your team. The same way I was talking about Lamptey, Dalot kind of just doesn't really fulfill that purpose, I feel. But aside from that, we've got another team that is got triple on the super expensive players and is kind of just, you know, given up essentially on the bench. Gelhardt and Williams, for example, that's given up on the bench, man. I feel like we still do need to think about the bench a little bit. There's still COVID going around. There's still a lot of injuries going around. There's still, you know, lots of games that are going to be moved around a little bit. So I still think we do need a little bit more on the bench, particularly if we're thinking about bench boosts and stuff in the near future as well. This one's from Daniel. Great name, by the way. Here is your wildcard suggestion. Foster and Ramsdale's the goalkeepers. We have got the standard Digne, Alexander-Arnold, Cancelo there. Tierney as well. The problem here, Daniel, is that you've got Ramsdale, Tierney and Saka. And like I kind of mentioned before, Arsenal, you know, we've got no 25, we've got no 27 fixture, which is slightly problematic. I do kind of half like, you know, a little bit of sprinkling of Arsenal in there. I don't think you need a Saka in there, for example, because Wolves away is a terrible fixture, and there's no fixture in game week 25. So at the very earliest, you'd want Saka in game week 26, but arguably you've got a blank in game week 27 anyway. So why not just game week 28? Now, defensive players, it's a slightly different because Wolves is actually a good fixture from a defensive point of view. But Saka, I don't really think should be in wildcard teams. I don't think. It's same thing with Smith-Rowe. I just don't think Arsenal attackers should be in wildcard teams. I don't know where their place is really right now. And you know, again, De Gea is a player that's really obviously missing. And maybe there's slightly too much money spent on this defence because you've got, You've got your big Alexander-Arnold and Cancelo, but then you've got Dino, Tierney and Cucurella. None of Dino, Tierney or Cucurella are rotation players. These are all players that you kind of want to play every game week. So who's going to be benched? Well, King, does he really have a place in FPL long term anyway? Probably not, what we've seen with Watford recently, and also the fact that Watford have pretty bad fixtures coming up. I don't know. Apparently we have also got some penalties going on in the Egypt versus Ivory Coast game. So guys, do let me know what the final result is there. Well, meanwhile, I will keep looking at some other teams. Big Three team. Oh, we had a look at this one, didn't we? Yeah, I'm sure I've seen this team. Yeah, it's the one with Williams and Gelhardt on the bench and Tanganga on the bench as well. All right, here we go. One from Rune. Great name because it reminds me of RuneScape, which is a fantastic, fantastic game. And you can't see all of that. We've cut off a little bit at the top. All of these have been cut off as much as this. But it's De Gea and Foster at the top, which is nice. Cash is interesting. Going for Cash instead of Didina. Emerson Royale is interesting. I think we could maybe save a little bit of money there. Maybe go for a Davies. Just so you've not got too many really expensive defenders. Again, Dennis, surely Dennis is on. Dennis and King, they're kind of not wildcard players, really, are they? Aside from that, it's pretty nice, actually. It's a pretty decent team. I don't even know if this is a wildcard team or not. It's just a decent team. It's a team that I wouldn't mind. All right, Rajaswaran has come back with a team without Dallo and Richardson. Richarlison. Why did I say Richardson? We've got Dyer in there, Lamptey in there. This is what have we got? You've taken out. Who did you take out? Tony, was it? And you've brought in Sam Maximan. You've taken out one troll player and brought in another troll player. I mean, some people quite like Sam Maximan as an FPL option. I've never really fully understand it, and I don't know. I've not seen really many kind of pro pundits or content creators or anything really go for Sam Maximan. And I've not really had any interest in him either. So I don't know, where is this Sam Maximan template coming from? Because I know a lot of people are transferring him in, aren't they? Like if we go in transfers in round, Sam Maximan's right at the top. Who are the people buying him in? Because I'm not seeing him anywhere on Twitter. I'm not seeing him anywhere on YouTube. But I mean, clearly a lot of people have high expectations for him. Richardson, the Burnley forward, yeah, maybe that's it. All right, well, this is an improvement. If this is the team that had Tony in before, then this is an improvement from the last one. But I'm still not massive on the Sam Maximan hype train. All right, let's do a few more. One from Dylan. I'm guessing, have Egypt just won? Okay, Egypt win. Okay, so no Salah. So that is a very strong possibility. There's a very strong possibility now that there is no Salah for Gameweek 24. There you go, guys. What do you think about that? Maxwell Cornet's coming home. There's a small advantage at least. But no Salah. Still no Salah. Well, I mean, he might be back in time. It depends how quickly Liverpool want to rush him back. But I think it would be a little bit harsh to expect Salah to play straight away. And because of the proximity of the two Liverpool games. So obviously we've got... here we are, Thursday the 10th and then Sunday the 13th of February. 2 games pretty close together. Is Salah going to be back for Leicester? And is he even going to be back for Burnley? Well, I can't remember what the final... What's the date of the final of... final and semi and third place playoff. What date is that? It's something like the 3rd of February, isn't it? Or something like that. Let me have a look, because I'm sure. Annoyingly, I did have it written down somewhere, but it's in my notes somewhere. I'm sure I can find it before the chat delay. It means that you guys can find it. When is AFCON final? 6th. Okay, Sunday the 6th. There you go. So that is That is really, really close to Thursday the 10th. Really close. If Salah was to get a week off, then even then, it's tough. Well, I mean, if he gets a week off and he doesn't even have to train it during the week off, then he's not even going to be available for Gameweek 25. So one to be aware of, guys. One to be aware of. That's pretty much Salah. Not written off, but it's not good. It's not good news. Okay, let's do like one more team. Who haven't we done yet? Anshul, have I done you? Maybe. Do I recognise this team? No, I don't recognise this team because it's got Ida. What? Again, where's this Ida hype? Where does this come from? Where's the Ida hype come from? Let's have a look. There's some players who would just get randomly hyped out of nowhere. He got a goal against Everton and an assist against Watford. Is that enough? Is he the next big thing? He's a pretty young guy, isn't he? So maybe he's like, people are kind of predicting he's going to be the next big thing coming through at Norwich. But if so, when are you going to play him? Like, seriously? If you have Ida in your team, when are you actually going to voluntarily start him? Even though it's, it's games against Southampton, Brentford, Leeds coming up, Crystal Palace at home in Gameweek 24. Even in those fixtures, are you still going to play him? I mean, it's still Norwich. It's still Norwich, even if you think Ida's going to do really well. Is Broja not just a better pick at it's hardly any difference. Surely Broja, I mean, the fixtures are pretty much really good after game week 26 onwards. And, Broja is genuinely, he's not an unknown quantity. He's just a really, really good player. Don't know. I don't know about Ida. Are you really that desperate to save 0? Oh, you've got Broja right there as well. Okay, Ida and Broja double up is a little bit mad, isn't it? Because how are you gonna? There's nowhere to go. You're gonna have to kind of sacrifice someone. I mean, this is what you have to do if you've got Fernandes, De Bruyne, and Salah, and we've got another team with Dalot in as well. Oh, we can't. Dalot he's an okay pick. He will play sometimes and he'll do okay sometimes, but he's not reliable in terms. He's not a reliable FPL asset, that's for sure. A Manchester United defender that is going to play about 50% of their games. Surely you can do a little bit better than that. Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of real cheap players. Gunn, Dalot, Aït-Nouri, Ramsey, Ida, and Broja, all peripheral bench options. But that's what you have to do if you want to triple up on the premiums. That's what you have to do. But to triple up on the premiums, that doesn't seem worth it to me. But there you go. Let's just do one more. By the way, guys, I'm so sorry if I haven't seen your team. Like, obviously, there's been a lot sent to me. I can't do everyone. I really wish I could do everyone, but there's just not enough time in the world unless I just sat here for hours and hours. But I don't think anyone would be too interested in that. It's kind of, at that point, it's kind of only interesting to the people who haven't had their teams rated. And I want this kind of, I mean, I'm talking about players in general, really. So if you have these players that I'm kind of talking about, then the discussion applies to your team as well. Even if I'm not directly looking at your team, if I'm talking about players that you have or that you're thinking about, then in a way I am talking about your team, even if your team is not on screen. But here we go. We'll do this as the last team, and this is from Celi Geronimo, De Gea, Foster, Aït-Nouri, Veltman, Alexander-Arnold, Cancelo, Digne. So far, so good. So far, really good, actually. Salah, Ramsey, Ward-Prowse, Foden, Bowen. Oh, it's going downhill. Edouard, Maupay, Ronaldo. Well, I mean, it crashed and burned at Maupay. I think if you look at just the top two rows of this team, I actually really love it, actually. I actually really, really like it. After that, we kind of come unstuck with Ward-Prowse, who is a bit of a luck-dependent player. You're going to be benched. This team is benching Ward-Prowse on a lot of game weeks, and I feel like if you're going to go for a player like Ward-Prowse, we're kind of basically relying on him getting a free kick goal, and it's very difficult to predict when that free kick goal is going to happen. It could happen against a Liverpool or a Chelsea or a Manchester City where you actually end up benching Ward-Prowse. So I don't like Ward-Prowse as a pick unless you're just going to commit to just playing him every single game week, which I don't think this team, looking through this team, I don't think this team does do that. Maupay I will allow. I guess the only problem in that case is kind of Ward-Prowse, really. Yeah. Who are the Southampton fixtures? They've got Manchester United in Gameweek 25. I know that for sure. Tottenham next, then Manchester United. Then the fixtures are pretty good, to be fair. Has that team got Broja? No, it hasn't got Broja. So I guess it's trying to cover the Southampton attack with Ward-Prowse. But I feel like Broja's the one. Yeah. It's kind of interesting. You've got two players who are going to blank immediately. But we can cover that with, you know, Ramsey and Ward-Prowse. You play one of Ramsey or Ward-Prowse and leave the other on the bench. I don't know. I'm not sure. Ward-Prowse I would remove. More pay. I like the way you're attacking the double game week, to be fair. And obviously now we know that Salah is probably not going to be available for this game week. Then maybe Salah to De Bruyne seems a good one. In which case, do you have Foden, or do you switch Foden for a Jota maybe? Just some ideas. Nuisance says there's no point in asking almost everyone to send their teams. No, I should have just picked 5 people from the chat and asked them to send their teams, but that wouldn't be very fair either, would it? So it's just, at least this is a random process. I can't get to everyone. I know it's a shame, but I can only apologise that I can't rate every single person's team. I mean, there has been I've had like a few hundred tweets like in the last hour, so yeah, I really can't do every single one, and if I did, it would be like 1 second on each team, which I don't think is very useful. But hopefully this has been a helpful video at least. Okay, we've been going for almost an hour, so let's just do one sneaky one more. Whoever happens to be at top, and that is Mohammed. Just a random process, guys. And he's got Tony. What? Where is Tony coming from? Why are so many people picking Tony today? This has been like 4 teams that I've seen today that all have Tony. He's a pretty popular wildcard pick by the looks of things. I like this team in general, actually. I actually really like this team. But Tony is letting it down. Tony is stinking the place out. But aside from that, I do like it. Maybe there's a, like I say, argument to go for De Bruyne instead of Salah, just because of the international duty situation. Aside from that, hey, it's pretty good. Pretty darn good. So, yeah, let's give this like an 8 out of 10. I think Tony is just the only issue in this team. Stop picking Tony, guys. And this team doesn't have Tony, which is good, but I'm not looking at it. There we go, guys. Right, that is it. We're not going to do any more. LFC Mike in the chat says, Dan, at what point would you consider bringing back Rafinha, if not wildcard him? I don't know if I would consider bringing him back if I think there's lots of other... I think we just focus on the double game weeks with our transfers, so it's going to be difficult to really get in anyone. We've got Salah to think about. We've got a lot of Spurs double game weeks to think about. We've got loads of stuff to think about. It's going to be difficult to get Rafinha in if you're not on a wild card, to be fair. To be fair, Dan, with a potential Eriksen, Tony might not be that bad. That is really, really speculative. Really speculative. I can't back it. I mean, if you want to take the punt, go for it. But, we'd like a little bit of data to go on, surely. Just a smidgen of encouragement that helps us choose to go for a Tony. And quite frankly, we have not had that at all, have we? There we go. Right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully this has been helpful to those of you who have seen the wildcard, to those of you who haven't seen. If you're making a wildcard, you're doing a wildcard, maybe some of the things I've said have been helpful in some way, or maybe it's just been interesting to hear some discussion about all of the wildcard related stuff. Even if you're not using wildcard, maybe it's kind of been interesting to just talk about FPL. I mean, we're all missing FPL, right? You wouldn't be in this chat, in this video, watching this stream, whatever, if you weren't missing FPL so badly. I know I am. We got a while. We will get there. Game week 24 will happen eventually. But until then, guys, yeah, we're just going to keep on streaming every day this week at 6 p.m. What was the one? Oh, one more thing I was going to say is I am still doing this 100,000 subscribers video. So I put out a tweet. If you'd like to ask a question pertaining to 100, it's not 100, it's a 2-year anniversary / 100,000 subscribers Q&A video. So non-FPL questions. So I mean, kind of FPL questions could be allowed, I guess, but not like, oh, should I bring in Rafinha or Bowen this game week? If you ask a question like that in this kind of video, it doesn't really fit this kind of video. So we're not going to do that kind of question in this video. But you can ask, like, you know, who's your favourite FPL asset of all time or something like that, or who do you think the best FPL asset of all time is? Stuff like that. Stuff that's a bit more general. I don't mind that kind of FPL question, but you know, yeah, whatever you want to ask aside from very, very current FPL stuff is all good. So yeah, reply to that tweet if you want to ask a question there, or you could also go onto my YouTube page and you can ask a question on as a reply to here as well, as a reply to that post that I put on my YouTube homepage. So there you go, guys. That's pretty much it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow for another stream at 6 p.m. I don't know what I'm going to stream about tomorrow, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. I'll put it on Twitter what I end up streaming about, but you know, hopefully it'll be okay. It's something to do at least during this period of nothingness. But yeah, please do make sure you like before you go. If we can get this to 1,000 likes, that would be amazing. Actually, let's just set our targets a little bit more realistically. If we can get this to like 500 likes, including the post-live likes, that would be amazing. But yeah, aside from that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, I will see you later, mates. Bye bye.